It is 7:49 this morning. Kingston Pike is still shut down in West Hills and Bearden area. Right there you can see this is near the Olive Garden and the U-Haul. This wreck happened around 3 this morning. Harry, police are saying this all started when KPD was responding to a burglary call. Take a live look now. Wow, you can see just how much that water has now risen just within the last couple of hours.
Since the light came out.
So the IRS will start accepting tax returns today, but the pandemic may affect how you file, especially if you lost your job this last year. On what was supposed to be an exciting first day of school, students at Austin East High School are now mourning the loss of a classmate. And that's what's so crazy about it. Everything's fine, and then you get to the neighborhood and there's a row of houses completely flattened, and the people inside those houses didn't make it out. Water is flowing out of North Carolina and into Tennessee. This is video from western North Carolina along the border. Much of this water now headed downstream to Cobb County. You can see some intense flood levels there. At one point, 5 cars were submerged on one road at the same time in Buncombe County. One driver was rescued by Asheville Fire Rescue. Hi everyone, Casey Wheeless here in the WVLT Now desk. You may have heard the tragic news. Another teen. 3 teens in the last few weeks shot and killed in the Austin East community. Mayor India Kincannon about to make a statement now. She tweeted last night that she wants this violence to stop. And you can see it's pretty dark out there for Ben. Same with rescue crews in the area. All that debris as well is a concern this morning as we wait for the sun to come up. But imagine some of these people last night, just before midnight. They either got a knock on their door telling them that they had to leave because their home was about to flood, or they got one of our alerts that we sent through our WVLT news.
Chris, supposed to be having some fun learning. I don't see him though. Oh, look at that.
Wait, do that again.
I need one of those in my, that's a nice little bathroom feature. Are you in the bathroom, Chris? What is that? What are you
I made a comment like, oh, so-and-so got engaged. And he said the whole time, he was like, just hold on 5 minutes, it's coming. Trying to make sense of some of this chaos, they were able to put, I just want to show you, they were able to put a lot of the stuff into piles. They were actually starting to burn some of the wood that they could, but we were showing you earlier, this was actually a garage that just completely blown off, the roof completely blown off this home. Absolutely, and some of the places too where there aren't street lights, where you can't see. I ran into that this morning. All of a sudden, I'm in an area that probably should not be driving through. So I talked to that pastor yesterday. He tells me he went to the hospital yesterday morning after this all happened, and it was absolute chaos. There were so many family members there looking for people. They couldn't find their loved ones. He said, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to open my church. You come here. The sheriff's office now coming there as well with latest information as they get those details. I do want to get a look at your forecast. Taking a live look outside the East Tennessee Children's Hospital cam. You can see it looks like a nice day, but it's definitely feeling hot out there. Let's get a check with meteorologist Paige Noel. How hot is it outside?
Oh, it's way too hot.
This was the only dog wig I could find that would fit her. It was a ponytail.
They make dog wigs.
They do. And you can trust me to find it.
So we ask you, please, God, show love and comfort to these families. Help them and hold them in their weakest hours and give them strength to go on. And help our city to show love at a time when love really needs to be shown.
A test of faith for the city of Chattanooga. And the people like Deborah who live here.
As word gets out more about who they are, I'm learning that some of them are nieces and nephews of church members.
At least 5 children Deborah knows were killed. A kindergartner, a 1st grader, and 3 4th graders.
And they'd be home having fun for Thanksgiving with their family, and now those families are coming together to lay their children to rest, and I'm just heartbroken.
The heartbreak has no boundaries.
Saw the crash, or the crash site. You could tell immediately this is really, really bad, and I feared the worst.
Ed Wilson was nearby when the crash happened. He was one of the first to call for help.
Several of them, maybe a half a dozen or so, were escaping through the roof hatch and jumping down to the ground level, and some people near me, or I guess neighbors, people from the community, stopped to comfort the children, help them across the road and that sort of thing. It was very hard to watch, very, very tragic.
And while he'll never forget what he saw, he'll also never forget what he's seeing now. Chattanooga passing the most unimaginable test of faith.
We'll never be able to understand all that happens in our lives, but we know that you're still God.
Thousands of people are diagnosed with cancer every year. Imagine getting that diagnosis when you're just 5 years old. One Kingston girl and her family are sharing her story of the hospital that changed their lives forever. You don't know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. For Kaylin Adams, she found out when she was just 5 years old.
Looked at me and he said, "I don't have anything good I can tell you, that she's got a tumor the size of a football inside her chest." And he said, "She may have 2 days to live. The only hope she has," and these were his exact words, "the only hope she has is you to get her to St. Jude Hospital as fast as you can." We left his office and I stopped by our house and I picked up my wife and we drove, my wife and my son, and we drove on to Memphis that night, and they were waiting for us at the door.
Doctors at St. Jude diagnosed Kaylin with T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a fast-growing blood cancer. It's aggressive, but so were Kaylin's treatments.
And they wanted to make sure that not only did I understand that I had a decision, that I got to make decisions about my treatment. I remember every time I would have a procedure done, there was this one chef that he would make me fettuccine Alfredo. Every time, whether I just took a bite of it or I ate the whole thing, every time I asked for it, he went and made me fettuccine Alfredo.
3 months later, Kaylin left the hospital. More than $500,000 worth of treatments. The Adams family didn't pay a dime.
You can see that, but it says the patient responsibility is $8,000. I'll tell you, and then there's stacks and stacks and stacks of things that they wouldn't pay. I never one time, not one single time, got a bill from St. Jude Hospital.
Her recovery was far from over, but this family was back together.
I mean, to be able to look and say, "I've got my child. St. Jude gave me my child back." You know, I think about that. And then it hit me. Cancer doesn't discriminate. 1 in 5 children won't come home. And when I think about that with my child, it could have been my child. Had it not been for those that were willing to invest, to those that cared enough to be a part of that St. Jude mission.
Kaylin and her family are now living a normal life near Kingston. This year, they're celebrating something special.
To be able to look over and see, the doctor tell us that she's got 2 days to live. And now we've celebrated this year 10 years cancer-free.
Hoping to one day give back to the place that gave her life.
And get, at the moment it's a child life degree, and I want to go back and work at St. Jude and be able to help some of the kids that were like me, that are going through some of the same struggles.
Yeah, Kaylin and her dad are taking part in this weekend's St. Jude Walk Run. You can help raise money for this special cause. Join a team. We have one here called WVLT Wheels. This is all virtual, and we have the details in the WVLT News app and on my Facebook page.